The too long didn't read version of this review is that this is probably the best power paddle that you can get for under $100. Best value power paddle. Hey there guys, welcome back to Pickleball Paddle Reviews, and today we will be looking at the Luzz Cannon, which was previously banned, if you guys didn't know, because of some submission errors made by Luzz, and now it's back. It's not really changed too much from the previous version. It's still crazy powerful. It was not banned because it was too powerful at that time. It was banned mainly because of a submission thing that was going on. So we will talk about that a little bit, and definitely a lot about this paddle, because I really liked it. It was definitely a fun paddle, especially looking at its price point at right around under $100. If you use PBR 15, you get that 15% off on the 109 price tag that it's currently going for. And I think it ends up being around $95. All right, so just the look of the paddle, it looks super cool. It is a murdered out black look. The handle, I think, was also originally black, so everything on it was black on black, and I really like that look. It gave it a very unique look, similar to the face of the Mod TA, which some people have compared this to. But I think this new look, that redesign that they did from the original Cannon, looks way better. I'll throw up some specs of the Luzz on screen. What you need to know about the specs is that you'll see the usual suspects of a power paddle. It's an elongated shape. It's got the right size handle, feels right about right, and good swing weight, kind of heavy, and somewhat okay twist weight. All right, so my first impressions when playing with it, I noticed right away that if you don't swing that hard, this paddle is completely controllable. It feels very, very intuitive to use up to that 50% mark. Your balls are gonna move exactly like you expect in a linear fashion. So when you hit with 10% up to 50%, they're gonna move exactly how hard you hit them. So this is pretty great for a soft game. Where it definitely is fun though, is when you get above that 50%, where the power and speed becomes exponential. You're gonna notice that if you swing just even slightly hard with this thing, the ball is moving so fast. It doesn't necessarily have that poppy feeling of, like, say, a Yola Pro 4. I would say this paddle, surprisingly, is not that poppy. It's more that it's putting speed on that ball. Now, ground strokes is where you're really gonna notice it, especially when you're swinging really hard. The ball is moving really darn fast. It's also true for serves, just like ground strokes. When you hit really hard on a serve, it's kind of hard to see where the ball is moving and react to it just because it's going so fast. Now, another crazy thing when playing with this paddle is how gritty the surface texture starts off. Yeah, the first 5 hours was so gritty. It's really easy to shape the ball, so you can hit it really hard and still get it in. Some of the initial shots on this thing looked completely crazy. A lot of people asked if they could try it when they saw it, just because they were looking at my hits and going, wow, this is weird. The balls are going so fast, but also coming down so quickly. Now, the interesting thing about this is the soft game. You're definitely gonna feel like this is a perfectly controllable paddle up to that 50% mark. When you're hitting drops, dinks, or ground strokes, it's very easy to shape the ball. The paddle itself doesn't give a lot of feedback. It's very muted. I would say it could actually use a little bit of weight to dampen some vibrations, because off-center hits on this are definitely more noticeable. But if you're relatively skilled, you're gonna be able to keep it in that sweet spot quite tightly. Then you're gonna feel like it's completely fine to play with this. But I think most people, you could put a little bit of weight on this. For me, I did no modifications besides adding the overgrip. The overgrip was definitely a nice plus for me. It dampened the vibrations a little bit for me, and also it's just better fit for my hand. Now, gameplay with this. You're definitely not gonna wanna swing as hard as you can all the time with this, unless you're a banger and you really just wanna hit that ball hard and watch it go fast. This paddle's great for that. You're gonna notice balls going so fast on hard ground strokes, backhand serves, all of those things feel amazing on this. I would say when you're up at the net and you gotta do putaways or overheads, you do have to be a little bit more careful. Sometimes I would have troubles doing putaways with this. When I'm swinging across my body, I did notice that it was just floating a little bit more than I would have expected. What surprised me was that it's not that poppy, so that when you do have to do some resets, you don't notice that the balls are popping up too high or drops are going a little bit too high, because it's kind of hard when you have a really poppy paddle to kind of hit a drop or a reset that's not going too high. It's definitely much more difficult. This kind of has that muted pop so that you can still hit those resets and drops just fine. Dinking, I'm not too worried about the poppiness usually, because the poppiness doesn't usually come up too much on dinking. It could, but for me, I'm not too worried about that. And on this paddle, it's not even a worry at all, especially since the grit is so crazy on this that you're gonna be able to shape the ball really well too. So yeah, this is actually very good for the soft game as well. Now, I can't say that there's no weaknesses on this paddle. I would say it doesn't feel bad in any way. The only thing that I really noticed right away was the balance point feels just a touch off. It's a little high, doesn't feel the most comfortable when you're holding it in hand for that reason. Kind of feels like that tilt down when you're holding it kind of like loose. But other than that, I would say that is the main weakness of this paddle, as well as having like dead spots a little bit around the bottom, which most paddles have, especially elongated paddles. But yeah, for under $100, I don't think that for Gen 3, unless you're looking at like an unapproved paddle like the Flick F1 sandbox models, this is a USAP approved paddle with quite a bit of power, comparable to a Yola Pro 4, maybe even a little bit more powerful with less pop, for under $100. So anyone looking to get a power paddle just for fun, or even a serious power paddle, could look at this and probably feel okay about getting one. Thank you to Luzz for sending us this paddle. They sent us this paddle with no obligations for a review. They just wanted us to try it out, and we wanted our opinions about this paddle. I will post my affiliate links to the paddle, as well as my discount code will show up on screen right here, PBR15, for 15% off of whatever the price of this Luzz is right now. Hopefully it's still at $109, so you can get it under that $100 price range. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. That's my 10-hour review of the Luzz Cannon. It's definitely one of the best power paddles you can get right now that's under $100. So if you're still into Gen 3 and really like that Gen 3 feel, this is Gen 3, under 100, with soft game, with hard game, and honestly, it looks pretty nice too. From a pretty reputable company, I think this is definitely an easy add if you are looking for a paddle like this. All right, peace.